But yeah, so today I'm going to be riding the Dominar 400. Credit to Gaurang for letting me ride his bike, and I'll be giving my impression and opinion on this bike. So this is a 2018 Dominar. It has conventional forks, a 43 disc, but which is as good as the RC390, but it's heavier, so it needs more braking power. It is pretty heavy for a 400. It weighs in at 188 kilos wet, which is very heavy. And a lot of people say that this has the same engine as the KTM, but the build quality of this is way cheaper because they are offering it for a cheap price, so there has to be some compromise. So although the design has been copied, but the parts which are used are manufactured by Bajaj itself, and it's not the KTM parts which you get in this bike. So let's give this bike a cold start. The instrument cluster looks pretty good. It's basic, doesn't have a gear indicator, but yeah. Just a quick walk around. It's the BS4 version, and also one more thing, it doesn't have the dual exhaust, so it doesn't sound as bassy as the newer one. In the newer one you do get upside down forks instead of the conventional ones. I don't know if I did mention, but Gaurang has put Vesera brake pads in it, so there should be some difference. I'll continue when I start riding. Overall it is more refined than the RC390. Also I forgot, he told me that his bike has a speedometer error, तो अगर कुछ अजीब ऊट पटांग स्पीड दिखे तो but yeah, it feels weird because it's falling more on the left and not tipping it easily on the right, so something feels off on the bike. But let's test the bike out. Okay, so the Vesera brake pads are decent, not bad, but this is a nice comfortable bike. Although it is very heavy, the weight, if you're an experienced rider, is very manageable. It's not that much of an issue, and since it's a heavy bike, it's very stable at high speeds. So let's just test the bike out. Has decent amount of engine braking. So nice and fun bike to ride, but what I feel is that the brakes are not really up to the mark, even though it's a non-ABS variant. I have ridden the newer Dominar though. It has better brakes, but this one doesn't seem to stop as well at high speeds. Pretty stable in the corners, as you'd expect. Has the slipper clutch too, so you don't have to try rev matching it while downshifting, which is good for newbie riders. So overall I have mixed feelings about this bike. It's because it's probably the best value for money bike, but it comes with a few problems. Like I said, the engine coating, it's black, the parts are not black, so they coat it black, and it's cheap quality coat, so it wears off. So that is one downside. It's heavy as well, but also given the fact that the parts do come cheap and you do get a new bike, a new 400cc in 2.8 lakhs. One more thing I find weird about these bikes are that they have a very weird scheme of having 3 spark plugs, which I think is a bit stupid, and they claim to have increased the average by giving you 3 spark plugs in the bike, which I find very weird. But overall It's a good 400cc value for money bike, and it's more practical than an RC390 or something of that sort. But I'd suggest, if you have the extra money and if you're not a very big rider, in the sense big in size, then you might as well go for an RC390 instead of this. Although I've ridden the newer Dominars and they are way more refined as compared to the older ones, but this also, for its year, it's pretty decent. So yes, there is a lot of traffic, but I'll try my best opening this bike up, but I'm not very confident with the brakes. But let's see what we can do here. Okay, let's see. Look at this idiot. He thinks he's very fast. It's pretty planted in corners, I'd say. I can feel vibrations. I don't know what speed we are doing. There's a speed error. Has a decent pull to it. Not as fast as the RC390, but it is somewhere near there. So the main question is, should you go for this bike? If you're more on the heavy side, then yes. And if you want to get a good budget friendly bike which has cheap maintenance, then definitely. But I still recommend, if you have the extra money, then just go for an RC390, I mean Duke 390. Because it is lighter weight, more powerful, and although it's a bit more unreliable, the parts on that are also cheap only. One thing about this bike is that if something does come in the way, it's pretty hard to swerve around. Oh, what is he doing? Are kahan ja raha hai? So that's Gaurang on my bike. Looks pretty big for that RC. Oh, false neutrals because I run a GP shift. Vroom vroom. The headlamps on this bike are very good. अरे स्टॉल हो गई यार. रुकी एरर. So it starts only in neutral, which is pretty weird. Also, I forgot to mention that this bike, since it's the older model, it has only 35 horsepower and also 35 Newton meters of torque, which is pretty weird because usually the horsepower is more, but in this the horsepower to torque ratio is 1:1. Pretty interesting. But let's just whack it open once again. So that's it for the video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and stay tuned for more reviews like this. I'll see you all in a bit. Peace.